welcome into the Grove. I am one of your hosts, Nate Hassan, and next to me I have Nathanael Duncan, the other host. We are excited to be talking to you guys again. So we actually just recorded our last episode. We're kind of doing two back-to-back because we have a game coming up this week. Season's back already.
Yeah, it's my favorite week of the year, to be honest with you guys. And it's been a long time since we've really had the full effect.
Yeah,
last year
COVID
we got
really jacked things up.
Yeah, we didn't really get much last year, so this is the first time in like 2 years that we've really been able to feel this excited about college football.
Yeah, but before we jump into things here, a couple little housekeeping type things. We really appreciate you guys listening in, so that's kind of the first thing. Thank you, whoever this is listening to this. We would love it if you subscribed. That would be very helpful to us. If you want to comment and tell us how we're doing, tell us what you like, what you don't like, leave us a question. That's also huge. We'll answer whatever questions you guys send us. And then don't forget to follow us on Twitter and get new Ohio State updates too. We post pretty regularly, especially when there's breaking news. So.
Yeah, and we'll be posting a lot probably throughout the season.
Yep. We'll probably be live tweeting during games too, I would assume.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, kind of jumping into things here. We're going to talk a bit about running backs today. So we hit quarterbacks pretty well in the last episode. Kind of pushed the running backs off because we wanted to
save it
to do our own section and not be rushed. We have a lot. So this is kind of projected order. The top 4 are probably accurate. I don't know because we have 7 on the roster, but I'm going to read them all beginning to end. Master Teague, of course. Mine Williams, Trevion Henderson, Evan Pryor, Marcus Crowley, Robert Cope, and Caden Souders. Now, Trevion Henderson and Evan Pryor are obviously freshmen. They're bigger name guys. Robert Cope is also a freshman. Robert Cope is a senior.
Yeah, Caden Saunders.
Caden Souders is the other freshman. So I don't necessarily expect the guys to play at all, but
I don't think you'll ever probably hear Robert Cope.
You'll never
or
hear
Caden
those names again
Souders.
outside this episode. But they are there. They are on the roster.
So for all relevancy, we'll probably only be talking about the 5 that are on the top of the list, but the other 2 are there.
They are there.
I don't really know much about them.
If the top 5 all get hurt, we have backups.
I don't think that's going to happen. Probably doesn't.
As far as time splits, what do you think it's going to look like? I guess because that's kind of a good segue into this.
Yeah.
First game of the season, playing Minnesota. We'll say the first half of the game, what do you think percentage-wise the running backs get?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about just in this first game against Minnesota, I think Masters Teague will probably take 75% of the snaps, just because there's a lot of unknowns with CJ Stroud. Like, you don't want to put Trevion, even if he is the guy in the future and even in the second half of the season, you don't want to put 2 guys in there that have no college football experience pretty much to lead against Minnesota, who has really good depth as far as their return to a lot of guys.
And a freshman's not going to be great at pass blocking, even if he's a big dude.
He's not very big, though.
He's not very big, which doesn't help him out either. Yeah. But he's not going to pass block like an extra tight end in the set will, or like a Mine Williams, who's, what was he last year, 230 or something? He was big.
Yeah.
He was thick.
I think he's cut down like 15 or 20 pounds.
He has, which I think, I'm almost positive they're saying Master Teague cut down too, because he wanted to be a lot faster and more explosive.
Yeah, they're both pretty built boys there.
Teague is a thick guy. Thick with 6 C's.
Yeah, thick. I think I kind of speak for a lot of the fan base, for at least the guys, the people who have followed recruiting. Trevion kind of feels just different. He's been compared already to Dobbins as well as Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
As his development in the weight room continues under Mickey Marotti, this dude's only going to become. I mean, I get excited thinking about it. I think he could be the next great running back. I think he could be better than Dobbins and Zeke. He's the highest rated running back that Ohio State's had in a very long time. He was higher rated than both of them, I think. So probably since like Beanie was probably our last running back that was rated that high. I don't know how high Beanie was rated, but I'm pretty sure he was a 5-star.
Beanie's old enough that he might not even be on 24/7 Sports. Let's check. Arizona? That doesn't sound right.
Well, he played for
Arizona Cardinals. Oh, that makes more sense. That's why I was
2006.
confused.
Yeah, he was a 5-star.
Yeah,
Number one running back.
Number 1 in Ohio, and number 7
Yeah.
in the country.
So that was the last running back that was rated at that height, and I mean he obviously
Zeke was
went on to
pretty high,
play.
wasn't
He was 4-star.
Was he really?
Yeah. He was not a 5-star running back.
Hmm.
And I don't think Dobbins may have
Dobbins,
been
I
a
thought
bottom.
But it wasn't like a number 1 in the country.
Yeah, Zeke was 4-star. Check Dobbins, because I can't remember. I think Dobbins, what was Zeke? Zeke's 9.711. Let's see what Dobbins is. I'm curious, as I don't think he was lower than Zeke. I think he was a little bit higher. Yeah, 9.791.
He's a high 5-star or 4-star though.
Yeah, but just there's a little bit of separation between a 4-star guy and a 5-star guy.
Yeah.
Even though the numbers wise they're like, oh yeah, they're close, but there's just the 5-star players are kind of like, yeah, they're a 5-star player,
Yeah.
you know. So this is the first time in 17 years that Ohio State's had a running back recruit come in like this. So I don't know. He excites me. I think that he is the future for the team of the next 3 to 4 years at the running back position. Yeah, so we will see what he does. I think he's a lot of potential to be special, and I think he could end up taking, I don't know, 40% of the snaps this year if he really proves himself and the chances that he does get. But I could also see him only taking 10-20%, just depending on Ryan Day's mindset in this. But I've heard he's been what is it they do? They champion out players, or what's that called?
So I don't know if it's something they do every year or not, but the thing that some reporters were saying this year was once they were finally let into practice, they do a little like recap of the training camps, and they do like champions of that practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Or champions of the week, sorry. And champions of the week happened to be
Travion.
Henderson was one.
He may have done it more than once too.
The others.
Marvin
Marvin
Harrison.
Like they were guys that you're like, oh, that's like the 3rd or 4th string guy. I wonder if they're playing their position or if they're like filling in a hole somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trajada Mitchell was one. DeJuan Jones was one, I think.
Pretty sure Marcus Crowley was one, and we talked about him in our last episode. I love Marcus Crowley, but
he's the one that switched to.
He switched to linebacker, I believe, right?
No, that's Steel Chambers.
Steel Chambers. I'm sorry. Yes, he went from running back. But Marcus Crowley's.
He's running back.
No, he's not listed on the list. He's
Yeah, he is.
Is he? Did I put him on here?
Yeah.
I guess I'm. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
He just hasn't really got much light of day. He hasn't really had any opportunities to really show who he is.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, we had Dobbins, and then I mean, if I would have known what Sermon was at the beginning of the year last year, I would have said run Sermon 80% and run Teague 20% of the time, because Sermon he was exciting to watch, especially those last couple games, man. I mean, it's so sad to see what happened to him in the national championship game, because I think that probably would have made a pretty big difference in how that game turned out. But that's also the way I look at Master Teague now, is like we wanted Sermon, and the Master Teague came in, and he didn't really show up on the stage, you know?
He had his chance.
So he could have come out and led us to a national championship, which would have been very unlikely against that Alabama team. But
well, the way that I like to think about it, that I think is fairly accurate, and it's fair, I think, is you have. Sorry, I'm blanking on where I was going with this. Dang it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Got it. I'm back. You have guys like Master Teague who we know their potential. You know, at best, it's probably like a B, a solid B, maybe a B plus. He's a great running back. He's not a generational guy. Definitely not a generational guy. He's not a All-American. He might be All Big Ten.
Second team.
Maybe second team, yeah.
Second team Big Ten.
You kind of know where his potential is. Now, Travion Henderson, we definitely don't know enough about him to know where his potential is. He, at the moment, could be an A plus because
he could be on the Mount Buckmore.
I mean, he's rated very, very high, and he could be up there because we don't really know enough. Now, the same thing with Mayan Williams. We haven't seen him play much, but we've seen enough of him in little glimpses that
he excites me more than Master Teague does.
yeah. Master Teague is going to do his job and do it well, but he's kind of boring. Which,
yeah, he's not fun to watch.
sorry, Teague. That
I love
hurts
you.
me to say too.
I think you're an amazing
You're a great
person,
guy.
a great athlete, and you do your job. But I don't know.
You know what that sounded like? That sounded like when you're breaking up with someone. Like, hey, you're a great guy.
I love you, but I don't. Yeah, we should take a break.
We're breaking up with you, Master Teague.
We don't want you to leave.
I don't want you starting on my football team, but I love you as a guy. We
Old
should hang out
reliable.
sometime.
Yeah.
Hey, now that NIL's a thing, we can give you. I will buy you lunch if you come on our podcast. I don't have much money, but
I'll buy you McDonald's.
no, we'll go somewhere a little nicer. We'll go to
Japanese
Olive Garden.
Japanese steakhouse. We'll take him to a Japanese steakhouse.
No, for real though, if we can get an Ohio State player on the podcast, that'd be neat. Even like a walk on that doesn't play much, just to like get an idea inside like.
You know any college? I know a college athlete, but not an Ohio State player.
My brother's ex-girlfriend is pregnant with what's his name, the basketball player that was all tatted up, the white dude that played for Ohio State this year.
Kyle Young.
Kyle Young, thank you.
He's gonna be a dad.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
My a guy I graduated with plays D1 basketball. He's back at OU. He was at his name's Jason Carter. He was with
No, Xavier.
Yeah, he was with Xavier for he started out at OU and redshirted. Was there for 2 years, I think, maybe 2.5. Then went to Xavier for 2 years or 3 years, and then because of COVID and his redshirt, he got another two years
COVID
extra
messed up
eligibility.
for everyone,
So he's back at OU, I think, for one more year. But that's basketball, so.
Yeah, but as far as running backs go, like we said, we're excited to see him. Towards the end of the season, hopefully we see a bit more of Henderson and a little less Master Teague. Mayan, I'm still happy with seeing about 25%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be mad to see Mayan Williams in there.
I don't want him taking half the snaps, but he plays
ideally,
quarter of the time, sure.
Ideally, I'd like to see Mayan and Henderson split the job. I mean, but there's no way Teague's going to drop to 3.
I don't know. I would still probably take Teague above Mayan. I love both guys, but Teague has much more experience.
Yeah. It'll be fun to watch him play. After this first game, I feel like we'll have a much better, because it's all speculation, especially with all these talented young guys coming in.
We can give you as much advice as we think we're giving you, but we have
no idea until they play. Yeah,
that's gonna be our not our motto, like our, you know what I mean, like our thing.
Did you play football at all?
I played flag football.
Okay.
But I watch a lot of football, and my brother played football, and I've done the Chang gang. I've been an assistant coach. I know a lot of football.
I played football for 3 years, not including flag football. Including flag football, I played for 5 years. But I played 3 years of actual football, and it was middle school, and so yeah, you take that with what you will. I've been watching football since I was like a baby. My dad put me in front of the TV to watch Ohio State and Dallas play since I was a baby. So watching Sports Center as a first grader instead of cartoons. So you take that with what you.
Okay, so kind of moving away from running backs for now, because we're recording this a week early. It's going to go out before the Minnesota game, so let's do some Minnesota game predictions. Who's going to stand out against Minnesota? First question. So we have.
Let's just take them one at a time.
4 or 5 position groups, I guess, that we're going to kind of go with. So we'll just start with wide receiver wise. Who's going to stand out besides the obvious Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave?
Yeah, I
guess the better question is, how much will we see other wide receivers, and what kind of performance do you think Olave and Wilson are going to have with a new quarterback?
Well, I think you'll see 4 other guys. I think you'll see Julian Fleming, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Emeka Egbuka, and Marvin Harrison Jr. The guy that I think is going to I'm really feeling Julian Fleming. I feel like, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think is going to be the starter at the slot position.
Yeah.
But I think we may get to see a couple. It may not be like the stat sheet guy. Like he may not have 90 yards with a touchdown and 6 receptions. It may be 3 receptions for 50 yards or 45 yards. But I think he's gonna have a couple plays where we're like, okay, like that's Julian Fleming. Because I don't really feel. For being the number 1 recruit in the country, 2 years ago, or He's been here 1 year,
I think
so
it's 2 years.
whatever.
Well,
Last year's
2019
class. Yeah, last year's class.
So last year's his first year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 2019 class.
Okay. He really hasn't made much noise. Jackson Smith and Jigba made noise last year. So.
Well, and it's kind of hard with the best wide receivers in college football ahead of you. But if he was somewhere like, I don't know, even Alabama at the moment, he'd probably be the number 1 wide receiver on the roster.
Yeah.
Well, we lost a wide receiver to Alabama, and he's the number 2, right?
The Jamison Williams, yeah. they got that one Mookie
Cooper?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's
it.
But, yeah. I mean, I don't... Maybe that's who I want to see. I'm not... He may not be the guy that shows up, but that's kind of who I want to see
Mookie Cooper is an
stand
Ohio
out.
State wide receiver.
Is he really?
That transferred to Mizzou, it looks like.
Look up who Alabama's depth is. It's kind of a funny name.
Wide receivers.
I can't remember what his name is. Betts, maybe?
Mechie. John Mechie, that's what it is.
Mechie.
Yeah, and then Jameson Williams is on that list, too. I don't know a lot of these guys, which...
Jameson Williams may be the solidified number 2, which is kind of sad. Because he was an Ohio State guy. He's so fast.
He might stand out more than John Mechie anyways. Anyways, though, yeah, so I'm excited to see that. I think Olave and Wilson are going to have decent games. I think because we'll have a new quarterback, it'll be a low game as far as their normal stats. I don't think they're going to get 120 yards receiving. I think it'll be closer to 70 to 90 each, maybe like 3 to 4 receptions. But
well, when you see a new quarterback come in for the first time throwing passes, you usually see him start off with a lot of shorter passes.
He does.
That's
true. It could be a lot more completions and a lot less yards.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is your slot guy.
Yeah.
So he could end up having the most catches. I don't know. I think I have hopes to see Julian Fleming just because I followed him through recruiting, and I think he's a really, really talented wide receiver, which we have a plethora of. There's 6 guys who are like that right now. So
there's one position we have besides too many, but
that's it. So the nice thing is year-wise they're separated a year for them. So we could have 3 amazing. We'll have Olave and Wilson, and then we're gonna have Jigba and Fleming, and then
and
Harrison
will split too. Jason will play this year and next year.
So
and he'll play Tabuka and Fleming probably, and
which people have talked about could be the most talented roster Ohio State has ever had here in the next couple of years with the wide receivers, running backs.
Is what they're saying.
Just think about that.
I'm sorry, because that'll be Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers with Marvin Harrison, Egbuka, Fleming, and
Henderson and
Evan Pryor. That line that's going to be solid with Paris.
Already pretty solid.
Paris Johnson and what's the other? Paris Johnson Jr. and Donovan Jackson. Those and we could still see DeJuan Jones. And now DeJuan Jones will be gone.
He's a little older,
yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where we are at wide receivers. As far as O-line goes, you're kind of hitting on it already.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch
O-line. Yeah, me too.
It's a boring, like, if you're not a football fan and you tried to watch the O-line, you'd probably be super bored and very confused as to why I want to watch it. But as a football fan, I'm so excited to watch Ohio State's O-line.
Yeah.
They're so big. Terrifying guys.
Yeah.
They tower over you and I'm 6'1", and you're 6'3" or 4" or something like that.
They average 6'5", 6'6", 320 pounds, I think. Their average. That's their average. 6'6", 325 probably, which is absolutely insane.
Yep.
But for anybody who loves running backs, I think you can just appreciate it. Just a beefy offensive line. Not even just a beefy. I think what I'm hearing is Ohio State's line is athletic and mobile.
Yep.
On top of
fast. They're running mid 4s, I think, in the 40 or high 4s, somewhere in that range.
Which is impressive, especially like I've heard DeJuan Jones moves. I heard he moved
like a train.
What was it? There was a play that he came in. I don't know if it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. He came in his true freshman year. And he booked it down the field, and I remember it got a lot of attention. But he booked it down the field. I can't remember what game it was, but everyone was like, "Dang, look at that big boy move!" But it's going to be fun to watch, like, these guys, and they're going to be running with whoever our running back is celebrating in the end zone. It doesn't really matter who you insert in here because people are saying this line's probably the best line in the country. So.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I completely forgot about that till now. We have 4 offensive tackles on our line at the moment. Yeah. We don't have any guards.
Which is not... Tackle is the harder position to play.
It is. It is, by far. So if you're switching from a guard to a tackle, if you're switching from tackle to guard, whatever... It's definitely easier to play guard than it is tackle, but having 4 tackles that makes me even because the tackles are the more talented ones. I would say.
Yeah, it's a harder position to play.
Guards, but tackles are a little bit tougher.
The guards are going up against tackles, defensive tackles, and the tackles are going up against defensive ends. And usually, if you're looking at a defensive line, the athletic players are going to be on the line are going to be the end. So being able to combat against them is a lot harder in a tackle position than it is against a guard. So, I mean, from what I heard, Thayer Munford actually suggested to Coach Studd that he move so that they have the best 5 guys out there, rather than having position wise and experience wise. He's like, we want to have the best 5 guys that could be out there, and if that means 4 tackles in a center, then that's what it means, I guess.
I'm trying to find DeJuan Jones 40 time because it's something super fast.
He was a 3-star coming out of high school, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah. 6'8", 360.
He's just a freaking...
It's a freak of nature in a good way.
Goliath, man. That dude is... Hey, I mean, I saw a picture of him next to Orlando Pace. So if any of you like football, you should know who Orlando Pace is. Probably the greatest lineman ever at Ohio State. I know no one else stands out like Orlando Pace does. And he didn't make Orlando Pace look small, but he was a little bit taller, and he was definitely bigger than Orlando Pace. So, I'm not saying he has the athletic ability. We don't know because we haven't really seen it. But this dude has the potential to be something special. So.
It's like Shaq holding a can of Coke or whatever. Have you seen those pictures?
Yeah,
it looks like a
absolutely tiny
toy can or something. Can hold 2 fingers. Okay, so we hit the line, hit the wide receivers. We kind of hit running back already, but we'll still go at it. We know who we're both excited about. What do we expect as far as who's going to stand out? Assuming it's the split that we talked about, 50 Teague, or the majority Teague at least, and then split between Henderson
I think Mayan will probably stand out in this game.
Okay.
I think Mayan gets more runs than Henderson does. I can't say that I expect Teague to get half the carries, but...
Well, Mayan Williams is getting all the first team snaps at the moment.
Yeah, well, he could be the starter.
As far as the way practice is going, Mayan Williams gets snaps before any other running back, which is significant.
Yeah, so I would say I expect Mayan to stand out more than any other player first week. I think we'll see maybe a couple carries by Travion, and they may be flashy, so he could be like the eye candy, but Mayan's probably going to stand out more than any other running back does.
Yeah, and I think, like you said to Henderson, the thing that I'm excited about that I want to see that I think is going to happen is Henderson's going to get the ball like 4 times, 5 times, just enough to get
little taste,
some reps under his belt, but I think he's going to have like a 20-30 yard breakout. Like, ooh, like that's... Yeah. He can move, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of those like eye-opening, like, oh, he's going to be a good player, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to hit a lot of people that maybe don't watch as much football like our buddy Josh.
There's no film on these players, so Minnesota has nothing to expect because it's a new team.
Yeah.
So Ohio State can kind of throw out some crazy plays. So the first game of the year is where you can kind of see some differential because there's no tape on Ohio State.
Yeah,
so,
I am excited to see Mayan Williams, though. I think he definitely deserves some time with what he's put into the program. I don't know if I'm going to see anything explosive from him because he's not the fastest guy, but he is big.
Yeah.
So I think he might have another run similar to Henderson where he's breaking like something maybe not as impressive. Like, maybe it's a 20-25 yard run, which doesn't sound like that much, but if he breaks 6 tackles on the way, you know that's going to be a highlight on Sports.
Which, does it really matter how fast you are if you're breaking through that many tackles?
The bowling ball's running people over as he goes.
You could run 6 miles an hour if you break 11 tackles on your way to the end zone. It doesn't matter.
Down, yeah.
What was it, the fridge?
Yeah.
What are the Jerome Bettis?
Chicago Bears, like 350 or something.
That's probably about what he was running.
Hey, if you got a guy that's 350 that can hold the ball like a running back, give him the ball. Let him run in first and goal. You're just gonna run everyone over.
That's so true.
Hurt you at all. Okay. So wide receiver, O-line, running back. D-line is next, and D-line is an interesting one.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
I say it's an interesting one. Usually, it's weird for Ohio State, and this is why. Because Ohio State fans are so used to seeing your 5-star, top-of-the-line, number 1 in the country defensive end. Like, first-round pick. Which...
We have 2 of them.
Yes, we have 2 guys that could be that.
Could be the best we've ever seen.
But they're not the best players on our D-line.
They're freshmen.
They're not the best. Haskell Garrett is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, since when have we been excited and so confident about a defensive tackle at Ohio State?
I am excited about Haskell Garrett. I think...
Dude got shot in the face.
Yeah.
And played football.
To be honest with you, though, I think we know what we're getting from Haskell Garrett. Like,
and it's great.
And he's a great player. I think that we're gonna see Zach Harrison finally take that step that we've been waiting for him to take as a 5-star defensive end.
Around the program, around all the beat writers, around all of the podcasts and everything you hear Ohio State. Yeah. Everyone expects Zach Harrison.
He's a captain. He got named a captain.
Yeah, he did.
So I mean that's already putting some weight on his shoulders and to step up and take responsibility in this game. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I guess if you guys are listening to this, could be the night of the Minnesota game. So tonight it'll be interesting to see what he does tonight.
I would love to see. So yes, I want to see Zach Harrison do well. I want to see him get 3-4 sacks, which isn't going to happen, but
I think he could get 1 or 2.
It's high end possible. I want to see Jack Sawyer play. I don't know how much is going to happen first game. I don't know how much is going to happen this season. I'm so excited to see Jack Sawyer play.
Well, let's look at our ends. If we go to the roster, I'm pretty sure Tyler Friday's out for the season, so that may make Jack Sawyer and Tumalau 3 and 4.
I don't know how I forgot about JT.
JTT. To be honest with you, I'm more excited about JTT than I am Jack Sawyer, and that's not a knock on. Oh, we got Javonte Jean-Baptiste, so they're 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, but
they're 4 and
the
5.
D line rotates a lot. Like that's a position where you see guys, they'll go 5 deep, and it'll go 5 deep in the first quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about
it should be that way because they get worn out real quick.
Cade or Noah Potter, that's who it is. I forgot about Noah Potter, but I guess he's listed as a defensive tackle or defensive lineman, which is same as defensive tackle.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
So you're gonna
Teron Vincent.
You'll probably see Tyreek Smith and Zach Harrison, and I think maybe Zach Harrison taking him the heavy spots on the right side, and then Javonte and Tyreek Smith splitting on the left side. If maybe Ohio State goes up by 3 or 4 scores, I think you may see Tumalau and Sawyer get in there, because I think there's no point in wasting their time.
Now here's the other thing, and I don't know how much you know about him or if you're excited about him like I am. I want to see Ty Hamilton play football. So Ohio State has a defensive tackle. No one, if you don't follow recruiting or anything, you might not even know he's on the roster.
Oh, yeah.
But
he's the younger brother.
If you remember a few years back, Ohio State had a great defensive tackle who plays for the Jags now named Devon Hamilton.
Yeah.
Devon Hamilton has a younger brother that also plays defensive tackle that was, I believe, at least a 4-star recruit coming out of Pickerington Central, just up the road from OSU.
Yeah, they both were there, right? They both picked Central?
Yeah, Jess, my wife, for those of you listening, actually graduated with Devon Hamilton. She knew him somewhat well in high school, which she didn't tell me until like last week. She's like, hey, I graduated with a guy on the Jags. I'm like, what? Okay, so Ty Hamilton's a 3-star.
3-star. What was Devon Hamilton?
A lot higher, I think.
He was a higher 4-star recruit, right?
I believe so. That would be my guess.
2-4-7.
But I think Ty Hamilton has kind of that it factor that you don't really see with 3-stars, which is interesting. But he's sat behind some really good players. Okay.
He's not too much higher.
Devon Hamilton was also a 3-star. He was actually lower nationally. Devon Hamilton was almost 1,000. He was 998. Ty Hamilton was 7-something.
That's the thing you see with these Central Ohio guys, though.
It's a defensive tackle. I mean, they're going to be low.
just
I
because
guess
you're
Ty
in.
Hamilton is listed as a D end when he was a prospect.
He's probably put on some weight.
Interesting. Well,
Marati's probably put
he's 250. It's
some
not that
poundage
bad.
on him.
Huh.
That seems to be like a nose tackle position almost, maybe.
Yeah, but anyways, what I was trying to say, yeah, I'm excited about Ty Hamilton. I think he'll be probably the third guy in rotation after Teron Vincent and Haskell Garrett.
Yeah. Haskell Garrett and Toronto Disney.
Yeah, and there's other guys in the roster. There's a grad guy, like a grad transfer.
Noah
There's-
Potter. I've heard
Noah
good things
Potter's
about
a
Noah
bigger
Potter.
name. But again, the D line rotates so much; they're all going to play.
Yeah.
It just guys like Haskell Garrett are going to play 90% of the snaps, and the other ones will play.
Yeah.
But you'll see them. I mean, it's not like quarterback where you'll see a quarterback that's not the starter play 4 snaps a year. I mean, they'll play 6-7 snaps a game and get their time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so we have the D line, secondary. As far as our last part for the Minnesota game, what are you expecting from the secondary?
Yeah. This is linebacker and secondary were kind of my biggest question marks coming into the season. As I've listened and heard different things about them, I feel a little bit more confident. More confident in the linebacker position for sure. I know at secondary we have some young guys who I'm really excited, like Denzel Burke and Ja'Kalen Johnson and Jordan Hancock. Like those are guys I'm excited about in the future, who are all freshmen. I think I feel confident in Seven Banks, and then Cam Brown is the other one. We don't really know if Cam Brown's going to be healthy coming into I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know at the moment.
I feel iffy with our wide receiver. I think we can only go up because
with our CVs, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
With our cornerbacks. I think we can only go up because of how bad last year was, and we were like 120 something in the country in pass coverage.
Yes.
Or pass yards allowed per game or something like that.
It can't get much worse, which I say that and I probably am going to regret that, but it can't get much worse.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I think we'll get better. And like I said, I think as we get older and these freshman guys come up, I think next year we'll be looking really solid next year for sure. But I hope that we do well. I think that could be the weakness that Minnesota tries to expose. They lost their big guy went to the NFL, Bates or something like that.
Yeah.
He was their best wide receiver.
I am excited to see Legend Cavazos play because he hasn't got much time because he's a redshirt freshman.
Oh, I've heard something about them doing like a rotation at the cornerbacks.
Yeah, I think McCall's going to play a lot. I think Williams is going to play a lot. I think Seven Banks is going to play a lot. I also think
if Cam Brown's healthy, he'll play.
Each of those guys have a rotation player behind them. I don't think they're going to rotate anyone anywhere. Everyone in the CB room, I think, can play just about every position in the CB room because they're all like, some of them have trained with free safeties, some of them have trained with strong safeties, some of them have trained with linebackers the last week. Like,
yeah,
these guys are all built so different. Like, I'm looking at the roster right now. Here's some of the weights: 191, 195, 185, 200, 205.
Seven Banks is big boy.
Like they're all over the place. There's a 180 down here. Heights range from 5'9" to 6'3". Like they're all built so different. It's helpful to have all these different body types because when you go up against a Minnesota, it might not be as important to have like the deep route guys. But then you play Alabama and then the playoffs and John Mechie or Jameson Williams or someone like that's running deep routes or running the medium like slants that someone might not be able to cover if they're super long and heavy versus like a small little guy that can just grab that easy pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really helpful. But
I'm excited to see what comes out of the game with our secondary tonight and as well as the linebackers. I think we talked about this a couple of times. I'm excited to see if they do something with the bullet position this season, this week.
Which I think that's the plan.
From what I've heard, they're going to run like the 4 on the defensive line, two pure linebackers, and then that leaves another, that's 6. So another 5 players. So it could be 2 safeties, 2 cornerbacks, and then a bullet.
Yep.
Or whatever. However, I mean, they can throw. Kerry Combs is probably going to mix it up.
A single safety, but you see a lot of teams now playing 3 safeties, with one being like a flexible cover type guy, like a CB. But
you can see 2 linebackers, a safety, a bullet, and then Yeah, 2 linebackers, a safety, a bullet, and then maybe 2 cornerbacks.
Okay, cool. So that is, as far as the Minnesota games, what we're excited about, what we think is going to stand out. Really quickly before we wrap up, quick predictions. So I don't know, we don't have to have any super long-winded responses here, but score-wise, what do you think the score is going to be?
Because it's the first game, I don't expect Ohio State to outscore them significantly. So, I'd probably say 35-17, maybe 42-17, somewhere in that range.
Trying to look up the betting line. Sorry. Yeah, I don't think, like you said, I don't think they're going to run out the score. I think they're still so inexperienced they don't have that ability yet. Okay, so the over/under total is 66, and then Ohio State is favored by 13.5. So, well,
35-17 is pretty
the betting
close.
line is 13.5. So
Maybe like 17.
Yeah, I would say maybe like 2 touchdowns to Minnesota, somewhere between a touchdown and a field goal and 3 touchdowns would be my assumption. And then for Ohio State, it'd be kind of the opposite. So somewhere between 3 touchdowns and 4 touchdowns and a field goal, probably maybe 5. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And then as far as play style, I guess we could probably hit that real quick. I think we think a little bit different on this, but I think personally, I think we're going to see a little bit more running just because we have such a young quarterback that doesn't know the team as well or doesn't have that experience. So I think they'll run a bit more. I know you're kind of the opposite, but I think we both have decent mindsets.
For the first game, I think you're probably right. I think overall as a season as a whole, I guess my viewpoint on it wasn't that we would run more percentage-wise, like more passes, but more than we normally do, because Ohio State is a run-heavy school. We're a running school. So I think we'll throw more than we normally do this year. But that's just my opinion because of the talent in the wide receiver room, and I could be proved wrong. Travion Henderson could come out and just be absolutely insane, and we'll run the ball to him 7 out of 8 times. So
DeMario McCall comes out and just starts carrying the team. Anyways, kind of wrapping it up now. Thank you guys for listening in. Hopefully, you guys are about to watch the Ohio State game and kick off the season. That'd be fun. So go Bucks.
Yeah, go Bucks.
OH. And yeah, thank you guys for listening in. Like we've said before, we would love to hear feedback from you guys. So comment, like, subscribe, tweet us, DM us, text us, whatever. Just
hold up a sign with our names on the side.
Stand outside of our yard with a boombox blasting. I don't even remember what song it is.
Buckeye Swag, Carmen, Ohio.
Hang on, Sloopy.
Zombie Nation, whatever Ohio State staples come to your mind.
But thank you guys for listening in. We hope that you guys like this, and I hope to get one out soon for you guys for next week.